listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.
Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name is Johnny Chandler. I'm the owner of KCCC 930 AM, the host of Community Forum. And with me for the second time, right, and I've learned how to pronounce her name first before we even bothered to come on the air. If you remember from the last episode, I have Ciara Gillard.
Yes.
Ciara Gillard is the president of Phi Theta Kappa here at Southeast New Mexico College. And remind me everything else that you do here, because you do way more than that. Now, we're going to brag about Phi Theta Kappa, because you guys have been really kicking butt, and I can't wait to hear about that. But remind everybody, all our listeners, who you are, again, what your major is, where you're headed in life, and why we should all be proud of you.
Hi, y'all. So I am, of course, Phi Theta Kappa president.
Right.
I am the club leader of the Neurodivergent Club.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, she was a little bit away from the microphone. I had to signal her to get closer. That's okay. Go ahead.
I am the back office manager here for the student health clinic on campus, and I am a nursing student. That's my, after all the things. That's my
right. And so how's the nursing student thing going?
It's going good.
It gets hard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Nursing gets difficult. Like, I don't want anybody to write off the idea of nursing. It gets difficult.
It's very difficult. And I mean, it's interesting because there's just so much you have to remember at any given time, because you never know what's going to come at you. So you have to have that knowledge of like, oh, this is what that sounds like.
Right.
Oh, these symptoms might point to this. And there's a lot of nuanced situations in there. But yeah, nursing is hard. And I'm not going to lie and say that this program is easy, because it's not.
Well, the Allied Health program here at SENMC it's very respected, very well known, right? So it's not, but I think being a nurse isn't something you should mess around with anyways.
No, we literally have people's lives in our hands.
Right.
And, not just, that's the thing, is you can't look at them as just a patient. Like, that's someone's family member, that's someone's friend. You really have to kind of have that.
Real lives are affected.
Yeah.
Right. And even though you see a bunch of people, throughout the days, at any moment, it could be your family member or somebody that you're really close to in that situation, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's because of a health issue or a car crash or any number of things, right?
Yes.
So how far are you in this program that we have here?
I'm in the second semester.
Second semester, so you have 2 more semesters to go?
Mm-hmm.
Out of 4? Okay. And you're just killing it.
Honestly, Johnny.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get through this semester.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, I think you're killing it. I mean, because you don't come across as somebody that's stressed, right? You've got a job at the health clinic here at SENMC, which is the right thing to do for a nurse to help keep your mind fresh.
Right.
You're president of Phi Theta Kappa, the Alpha Rho Xi chapter, right, which is a chapter here. Mm-hmm. And so I'm actually, I haven't been in college in a long time, but I'm really, really impressed by how active you are and everything that you're doing and your personality. You just come across like you're owning it, all right? And even if you're not, you're faking it really well, right? So congratulations on that front.
Thank you.
So the last time I asked you to come on the radio program was because I saw you at the Board of Trustees meeting just hyping Phi Theta Kappa and everything you guys were doing. And Dr. Anderson has been great, right? Such a good advisor. Why don't you talk a little bit about how great Dr. Anderson is?
Oh my gosh, he is amazing. I feel like, honestly, just in general, he was the first person that I met here at SENMC, and I came in and I was like, I want to be a nurse. What do we have to do? And he's been just so supportive, not only for me as a student, but also for me in Phi Theta Kappa, in our entire chapter. This semester we were all new. It was a completely new officer team and everything. And thanks to Tessa, which we talked about Tessa last time. Thanks to Tessa, she set such a good foundation that we were able to just build off of it. And now here we are.
All right. So now I was at the Board of Trustees meeting the other day, the last one we had, whenever that might have been. I assume it's March, because we haven't had one for the month of April yet, and so, as of this recording. And it was just like it was an embarrassment of riches, is what I want to say, if that's okay, right? So why don't you kind of explain a little bit about what you guys did, what event came up, and then how, even as a young independent institution such as ourselves, we just seem to be winning everything. So tell me what's up.
So right before that board meeting, we had our spring regional conference, which is where all of us from New Mexico come together and we celebrate each other and we answer questions and do all the
and
things.
this is held where?
This one was held in Los Lunas.
Okay. South of Albuquerque, for those that don't know, but I think most people know.
Right. I didn't.
You didn't know where Los Lunas was?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do now.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So as a regional officer, I think it was really fun. Not only going as like a chapter president, but also as a New Mexico regional officer was a very interesting like point of view. Especially because when it was time, that was the conference where we received all of our awards.
Okay.
And
what was the name of the conference technically? Do you remember?
Just the Phi Theta Kappa Spring Regional Conference.
Okay. And then to remind our listeners before we get into the multitude of awards that you guys received, tell us a little bit. Phi Theta Kappa is only for community colleges? It's a community college honor society exclusively?
Yes. So it's a 2-year college international honor society.
Okay.
There's certain things you have to do. Like you have to have 12 credit hours completed. You have to have at least a 3.5 GPA. You have to be inducted and go to a certain number of meetings, and it's invitation only.
Okay.
So to get in is very, I'm not going to say hard, but it's very
exclusive?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so I wanted to ask a question. So a 2-year institution, right? Phi Theta Kappa is the International Honor Society for 2-year institutions, right?
Yes.
Regardless of what we call them community colleges here. Other places across the world call them something else, right?
Right.
But you just mentioned you have to have 12 credit hours to be already finished, completed 12 credit hours with a 3.5 GPA. 12 credit hours is a full load for a semester, right? That means that when you join Phi Theta Kappa, you really only have 3 semesters left.
Yeah.
Before you move on, right? So that's a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's not like you're at a 4-year institution to where you have 1 semester and then you've got like 3.5 years to grow that. So like, go ahead.
Well, I do want to say, like, once you're Phi Theta Kappa, you're Phi Theta Kappa for life.
Okay.
So yes, while we may be a 2-year institution, that Phi Theta Kappa status goes with you through the years. Like Dr. Anderson, he was part of Phi Theta Kappa when he was in school, and he carried that all the way through. He wore his stoles and his cords when he got his doctorate.
Okay.
So yes, while it is only a 2-year program at our school, it carries through. And as a Phi Theta Kappa, through your entire educational journey, they have scholarships and different membership options and awards and all the things. Like, speaking of one of the awards that we just got at Catalyst in Kansas City, as an alumni, April Addington here, she's the mathematic department chair.
Right.
And she just got Alumni Hall of Honor Award.
Okay.
For New Mexico and our entire region.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, she got put in the Hall of Honor as an alumni.
Right.
So,
and then President Beardmore, the president of Southeast New Mexico College, is also a member of Phi Theta Kappa, correct?
Right, yes.
Right.
And
so if you went to a 4-year institution right off the bat, then you can never be a member of Phi Theta Kappa. I mean, just tell me the truth, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like you have to start at the community college level or the 2-year institution level,
right,
and then transfer to the 4-year. So like, for example, I started at Eastern New Mexico University right out of college, and then I graduated from there, of course. So now I was not ever even eligible for Phi Theta Kappa, which is interesting, which would explain why I did not ever hear about Phi Theta Kappa until I started working here.
Interestingly enough, I actually have an associate's degree, and when I was in school, I didn't know about Phi Theta Kappa until I came here for my continuing education in a new career field, and that's how I found out about it. And I'm so thankful that I did.
So you have an associate's degree already?
I have 2.
2? Okay, well, why don't you tell us what those are?
So my first associate's is an Associates of Applied Science and Culinary Arts.
Okay, but you did mention before we were recording that you're a chef.
I am.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I was a chef for 10 years, and I got to do some pretty cool stuff. I worked at Yellowstone National Park.
Ooh.
And in Aspen, Colorado at some Michelin-starred restaurants. It's pretty cool.
That's sweet.
But I didn't feel challenged, so that's why I was like, I want to go back to school for something that means more, And so then in last May, I graduated with my associates in general studies as well as my phlebotomy certification.
And was that here? Where was that at?
Yes, that was here at SENMC.
All right, great. So now you're president of Phi Theta Kappa because you're still enrolled in the nursing program here? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
So as long as I'm a student, or as long as anyone is a student, they're an active member, even if they're not super active in our projects and things like that.
Yeah.
They still count as an active member of Phi Theta Kappa. Once they graduate, they become an alumni. And so that's where it kind of shifts a little bit. But yeah.
Does it cost money to be a member?
So yes. The membership fee is $65. That's a one-time fee.
Once only, that's it?
Yes, once only.
Well, that's pretty affordable.
Yes, and also something that we're starting now is we have scholarships actually through the school to give us opportunity to help, because we also invite dual credit and early college
right.
Students as well. So we really just want to try to make it easier on the students to be able to become.
If you're going to school full time and you don't have a job, $65 is going to be a little hard to come by.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
Right.
And so we just really wanted to find a way that people could capitalize on what they've earned,
right,
without having to worry about the financial aspect of it.
Okay. Well, let's circle back to Los Lunas and the big spring conference that you guys went to.
Oh my goodness.
And so tell me a little bit. I've been to Los Lunas plenty of times. Tell me a little bit about what you thought about Los Lunas. Did you see anything in Los Lunas? Did you guys go tour the Facebook data center or anything?
No.
Okay. Where did you end up in Los Lunas?
The school.
What, the high school?
No,
So UNM Valencia?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right. So University of New Mexico has a Valencia campus is what it's called, which is going to be their 2-year feeder school up to UNM, right?
Right.
So what did you think about that campus?
Oh, it's pretty.
Is it?
It's so pretty. And lots of walking. Lots of walking.
Is
and
it
when
a
you're
big
in heels,
is it a big campus?
I would say it's about the same size as SENMC here.
Okay.
But there's just a lot more buildings.
Right. So we're literally like we're technically like a 4-building institution because of the Carlsbad Early College High School, but it really feels like one building in a way.
Right, it does.
Right. And so we are obviously, as you know, we're working on a nice, beautiful second building here at some point.
Yes.
And so, all right, so you're at UNM Valencia. I've never actually been on that campus, even though I've been to Los Lunas quite a few times. And so the spring conference, and so go ahead, just take it away. Spring conference, what did you guys do?
Yeah, so at our spring conference, that's where they gave regional level awards. And I feel like I'm bragging.
You should. That's why you're here. I want you to brag. You bragged at the Board of Trustees meeting pretty well. So let's channel that energy. And you're very proud of what you guys are doing. And I appreciate that because you are, right? And you guys are doing really great stuff. That's why I was so attracted to have you onto the radio show, right? So let's get into it. Start bragging.
Okay.
Right now.
Well, my chapter members, they've done an incredible job over the semester, and that's why we came home with 12 awards from the spring conference.
12 awards?
Yes.
How many different categories were there, do you know?
Oh, so we came home with a college project award, honors in action, distinguished chapter. We had 2 distinguished chapter officers. We had 1 distinguished chapter member. We had a Paragon Advisor Award, which was Dr. Anderson. We also had a Advisor Team Award, and
I mean, a dozen awards. It's hard to memorize them all.
Yeah, we were also a 5-star chapter, like we talked about for the first time in 13 years.
Right.
And then we had a recruitment award. We did all of our EDGE courses, which is like our educational aspect of Phi Theta Kappa, which there's multiple different ones.
So give me some information on, so you're a 5-star chapter. Let's start with that. What does it take to be a 5-star chapter?
So you have to have at least one, you have to send out invitations at least once a semester.
Okay.
You have to finish those EDGE courses like I was telling you about, at least one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have an honors in action project. You have to have a college project, as well as Oh my goodness.
Well, you're looking at me like I know.
No,
I don't know. I was like,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to become a 5-star chapter. Is there a certain number of members you have to qualify to be a 5-star chapter?
No.
Okay.
So it actually has nothing to do with how many members you have as a chapter. It has everything to do with meeting those goals.
And how active the chapter members that you have are, in a way. Right?
Yeah, kind of in a way.
Because you got to finish all the edge stuff. You got to get a crew together to do invitations to make sure they all go out, right? So you have to actively recruit consistently, which is kind of what I was getting at when it came to, you really, like, it's such a short turnaround with the 2-year institution. By the time you're a member, you have to constantly be recruiting. Like, you can't let up ever, right? Okay, so 5-star chapter. You also got a recruitment award.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, we're a pretty young institution, independent institution. So you got the 5-star chapter, which is pretty quick, actually.
Right.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Also, can you tell me a little bit about what it takes for the recruitment award?
Yes. So we have to, like I said, we have to send out invitations every semester. Like this semester, we had 132 invitations go out.
Okay.
Actually, 51% of those were dual credit in early high school.
Nice. We have a really nice early college, high school setup here.
Yes. And so actually, I am so glad that we're talking about this because on April 23rd,
Okay.
we will be having an induction ceremony for the new members and everything to be sworn in.
All right.
And
where's that going to be at?
It's going to be in the gym.
Is it open to the public, or is that like mostly for family and friends?
No, it's absolutely open to the public.
So April 23rd at the gym here at Southeast New Mexico College. It's the Phi Theta Kappa new member induction ceremony.
Yes.
Right, which is cool. Do we know how many people we have?
As of right now, that are being inducted, we have 25.
25 new members. Is that a record for us?
Oh, yes.
I was like, that sounds like a lot of people.
Yeah, it's. We were so shocked because we had our first all chapter meeting and the room was full.
Yeah.
And we were like,
what time's the induction ceremony?
It's at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. So it is open to the public.
Yes.
Everybody'd like to come. Okay, so is that like a induction ceremony then a party or what?
Yeah, so it's we'll do the fancy bit. So
Okay.
we'll have all the things and they got to repeat stuff and
Oh yeah. It's like a whole ritual related to it, right?
Yes.
That makes
and
sense.
then after we'll have like a reception and that's when it'll kind of go off. We're going to have like a huge cake and
nice.
all this stuff. So yeah, we would love for anybody who wants to come celebrate these students that have made these accomplishments.
Right. Okay, that's April 23rd, 6 p.m., the Phi Theta Kappa induction ceremony. 25 new members being inducted.
Yes.
Huge cake afterwards. I tell you what, if you're a member of the public and you show up, why don't you let the new members and Phi Theta Kappa members get some cake first, and then you can have the rest, right? Don't be the first in line as a member of the public for a piece of cake.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, you didn't do anything as a member of the public to make Phi Theta Kappa so great. So you can have a piece of cake, but why don't you wait? You know what I mean? That's my suggestion. Is that fair?
That is, you know what, if that's your opinion, I respect it.
All right.
But I'm not going to say that.
Okay. Well, I was like, you as the president probably get right up front for a slice of pie or cake or whatever you're having.
No, I think that's where my chef comes in. I eat last, but
okay, no,
of course
fair,
the members, not
Mm-hmm.
only the ones being inducted, but also our chapter members that are already established.
Right.
Let them get some cake, you guys, please.
That's what I'm saying. I knew you said it too. I knew you're gonna. I mean, that's my point. You'll have enough, I'm sure. But so that's like a big deal. So why don't you tell me a little bit about like the feelings and everything that went with that during your induction ceremony?
Oh, it was terrifying.
Okay.
Oh, it was terrifying.
That's exactly the response I was not expecting, but no, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I think when I very first got my invitation, I was like, I don't know. This is a little weird. So I went and talked to Dr. Anderson about it, and he gave me all the information. I was like, where do I sign up?
Right.
Like, let's do it. And so I think it was really just not knowing what to expect, especially because we were, like I said, we were all new.
Right.
Completely brand new. So I think there was a little trepidation going in for all of us, but I think this new round of recruits being inducted and everything, the good news is they'll have us.
Yeah.
So
good foundation set up by Tessa, who we talked about.
Right.
A foundation that you're continuing to build, making stronger, maybe even working on the second floor, if you will.
Yes.
Right. If you want to use that foundation analogy. You were inducted, which felt great. How long do you get to serve as chapter president?
Until I graduate.
Okay, so you're in, so you graduate, right? So that's another year.
Yeah.
not counting this, obviously this semester. We're already in April of this semester. It's done in May, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's so quick. You're killing it though. You have to maintain that 3.5 GPA after you join.
Yes.
Okay, so
especially I do, because as chapter president, of course.
you should probably lead by example.
Exactly.
All
so
right.
even if it wasn't a rule, that's my rule in my head.
Nice. I like it.
But yeah, so once inducted, you have to maintain like between the 3.5 to like 3.25 range. So it's doable, especially if you've already got, you've got this far. You just gotta.
You guys have a community service project that you do every semester? Is that part of what you guys have to do?
So there's two projects that we have to do. One is the college project, which is where we do something on campus.
Got it.
To help the campus. And then our honors and action program is within the community of Carlsbad.
Okay. And as the leader, have you guys decided on those projects?
Yes.
Do you want to share them? You don't have to yet if you're not ready to debut. It's okay. We can tease it and say we can't wait to have Ciara on again to talk about all these great projects that they have.
We've decided what we're going to do.
Okay. But, I mean, if you want to wait, I respect that.
Yeah, I want to wait.
Okay. No, that's good. The teasing. Everybody in the community should listen every Tuesday or Thursday at noon to KCCC 9:30 a.m. on the off chance that you're going to debut those projects.
Guys, you got to tune in. I don't know what to tell you.
It's also online at kccc930am.com, right? You can find the program on my website, which is, of course, you can find it on YouTube and Spotify and all the other places where you happen to listen to podcasts. So Facebook page. So please pay attention to all that. I never really plug my program that much, so I had to get that in there.
I was about to say, shameless plug.
That was a shame. That's exactly right. And so I would say that this community forum program, which is the name of this program, it is about the shameless plug, right?
Absolutely.
It's about if you're doing something in Carlsbad, Eddy County, or New Mexico, and it's local to what we're doing in our community, whether you're a nonprofit, a community organization, a college organization such as yourself, or if you're literally a private company, right? You don't have to pay to be on. This is all about making sure that you promote what you're doing local, because we're all about local. So if you're doing something local, we want to share that information all the time.
Right.
And that is another shameless plug.
We love that.
I know. But that's what this program's about, right? We're shamelessly plugging Phi Theta Kappa because you guys are killing it, right?
Yeah.
Now, why don't you tell us before, we got a little bit of time left, but why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about how it went down at the Board of Trustees meeting on how you guys, how you debuted all of the awards in front of the Board of Trustees members?
Oh, well, I'm kind of a dork, so.
in a very genuine and very cool way also, I might add.
Thank you. It was really funny because I gave my spiel about, what we did and all this stuff. And right before we unveiled the awards, I looked at Dr. Beardmore and I was like, so, can we get a trophy case? Because we're definitely going to need one.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
So, and then, it was funny. And we were like, I was serious. I was so serious. I was like, I want a freaking trophy case.
Have you gotten your trophy case yet?
No.
Well, don't give it up.
But, no, I'm not, because now we have 3 more awards to add to that trophy case.
What would those be?
So, actually, this past Sunday.
Okay.
Whatever day it was.
Yeah. I got you. We're looking at
6th.
April 6th. Yes, correct.
We got back from Kansas City, Missouri,
All right.
which is where we had our international conference called Catalyst.
Yeah.
And that was actually why we're here today. I have some good news to share with you guys. So I already told you about Miss April's award,
Right.
which is incredible. She absolutely deserves it. She kept us going through COVID, and she has done so much for our chapter that we wrote a heck of a nomination for her.
Great.
So the big thing that I want to tell everybody about is Alvaro Zai at SENMC has been recognized as one of the top 100 chapters in Phi Theta Kappa internationally out of 1,300 chapters.
Top 100 out of 1,300, right?
Yes.
And we've done, well, so congratulations. High five.
Thanks.
Awesome. And so you guys have done that within, 2 years? 3 years?
Yes.
Because
So
we're such a new school.
yeah. So unfortunately, we didn't get any awards last year at Catalyst. We were just so new.
Yeah, no, that happens. Yeah.
We didn't have the time or, everything. But this year we really, really, the members, they put so much hard work into it. I wish that everybody could have seen what I saw as far as the determination and the hard work and the hours that they poured into everything that we have done. And it's due to that that we were named top 100. And that was just from this year alone. We were still rebuilding and everything. And
Right.
I was shocked. Like, I didn't even read it right the first time because I
Okay.
was in my head, I'm like, oh, well, we're just too new. You know, we haven't established ourselves enough, you know.
Right.
And everybody's like screaming around me. And I'm like, okay. And Miss April's smacking me on the leg. And I was like, what is happening? And then I like saw Southeast. And I guess my brain kind of clicked. And I was just looking at it. And everybody was like freaking out, like I said. And I'm just sitting there like in shock.
Right.
Everybody's excited because they read it right the first time.
Right.
But so
But yeah, I can see that. Top 100.
yeah, it's an incredible.
So how many
incredible
total
achievement.
awards do we have now for our trophy case? Is it 15?
15, yeah.
15 awards. I mean, that's
Just
we're-
from this year.
yeah. I mean, like we might need 2 trophy cases.
That's what I said. I was like, by the time next Catalyst rolls around, we're gonna need a double wide trophy case.
Double wide. Yeah.
Yeah,
Does that make
so-
you fun of like double wide manufactured homes? Is that what your joke is? Because that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't have to explain it. I'm sure everybody listening got it, but
I'm sorry, I'm redneck. I don't know
I like
what
it.
to tell y'all.
No, nice double wide trophy case over here at Southeast New Mexico College for Phi Theta Kappa. Well, Ciara, we're just about out of time. Do you want to close with anything?
I just want to say thank you to SENMC as a whole for giving us this opportunity to really spread our wings and fly, and being so supportive the entire way. There was really nothing that we wanted to do when anyone was like, no, you can't. They were like, well, what can we do to help you be successful in this venture? And I just really want to say thank you so much. And I also want to say thank you to you for, giving me the opportunity to,
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
talk and everything to the community. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have that opportunity. So.
Well, and you are right. We are the only station in the community that does this. Another shameless plug yet again. But, you're a rock star. And like out of all the interviews that I do with everybody in the community, I like interviewing the students. There's so much promise, right? So much potential, so much like looking at the world in a new way instead of like the worn out and haggard life, what I mean? Which can happen. You have some years under your belt in your careers as well. So
Right.
I really appreciate and respect the idea of just rejuvenating yourself, right? And then, you've rejuvenated Southeast New Mexico College. I know that Phi Theta Kappa was getting started, but way to just take the baton and go much further. Ciara Gillard, Southeast New Mexico, Phi Theta Kappa president for the Alpha Rho Xi chapter. Don't forget April 23rd here at Southeast New Mexico College for the induction ceremony for the new members. You're killing it. So thank you very, very much.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.